Hello guys, a very good evening to all of you. Today I will be talking about radiographic interpretation of periodontal and inflammatory diseases. First, let's talk about the periodontal diseases. In the early bone changes, there is localized erosion of interproximal alveolar bone crest. The anterior regions show blunting of alveolar bone crest and the posterior regions show loss of normally sharp angle between the lamina dura and the alveolar crest. In case of horizontal bone loss, there is appearance of loss in height of alveolar bone where the crest is still horizontal but the position apically to the CJ. In case of mild bone loss means 20% or 1 to 2 mm, moderate bone loss means 20 to 50% bone loss, or severe bone loss means more than 50% bone loss. In case of vertical bone defects, it is localized to a single tooth or multiple vertical osseous defects. Bone loss progresses along the root of the tooth, resulting in the deepening of the periodontal pocket. An oblique angulation of the remaining alveolar bone is seen on the radiograph. According to the number of whorls remaining, vertical bone defects can be classified into three types: one-whorled, two-whorled, and three-whorled. Visualization of the pockets can be done with a GP cone, probably 15 or 20 size GP cone in the periodontal pocket. Next comes is the interdental craters. The crater is a two-walled trough-like depression that forms in the crest of the interdental bone between the two adjacent teeth. The buccal and lingual cortical walls of the interproximal bone can extend coronally into the thin cancellous bone between them, which has been resorbed. Next comes buccal or lingual cortical plate loss. The buccal or lingual cortical plate adjacent to the teeth may resorb. This may occur along with the horizontal bone loss. There is an increase in the radiolucency near the alveolar crest that surrounds the root of the tooth. Semicircular shadow directed towards the apex of the tooth. Next comes osseous deformities in the furcation of the multilateral teeth. Slight widening in the furcation region, profound radiolucent lesion within the furcation region resulting from loss of bone in the furcation region, and buccal and lingual cortical plates. There may also be an inverted J-shaped shadow extending into the furcation region of the three-rooted maxillary first premolar. Changes of the internal density and trabecular bone pattern. The peripheral bone may appear radiolucent or sclerotic. Radiolucent lesion reflects the loss of density and number of trabeculae. They appear very faint in the early acute lesions. The appearance of sclerotic nature is due to the bone deposition at the expense of bone marrow, which produces a thicker trabeculae and increase in bone mass. Now let us discuss about some inflammatory lesions. Periodontal abscess. An acute lesion does not show any visible radiographic changes. A chronic lesion can be identified by radiolucency superimposed over the roots of the tooth. In case of aggressive periodontitis, there is severe bone loss with deep vertical defects. Maxillary teeth are involved more than the mandibular teeth. In case of localized aggressive periodontitis, there is linear arc-shaped bone loss from the incisors to the molars, and this type of bone loss occurs in a mirror image pattern. The rapid bone loss is there in both vertical and horizontal patterns, not consistent with the inflammatory picture. Periapical inflammatory lesions, epicenter at the apex of the involved tooth. Lesion usually starts within the apical portion of the periodontal ligament. When the lateral or axillary canals are involved, the location may alter. The periphery is ill-defined, showing a gradual transition to another normal trabecular pattern. There is widening of the peridial space, and along with the periapical and ratifying sclerosing osteitis. Osteomyelitis has two phases, acute phase and chronic phase. In the acute phase, the most common location is the posterior body of the mandible. There is ill-defined periphery with the gradual transition to the normal trabecular bone. Internal structure may also show sequestra. This can either stimulate or inhibit bone formation. In case of chronic phase, the most common location is the posterior body of the mandible. Periphery is better defined than the acute phase. An active phase shows a greater redundancy with poorly defined borders. The internal structure reveals a greater number of sequestra which are more radiopaque in nature than the surrounding alveolar bone. Chronic osteolysis stimulates bone formation. Radiation-induced changes to the jaws location: posterior mandible followed by the anterior mandible, then by the posterior maxilla, characterized by the ill-defined borders with irregular areas of bone resorption and sclerosis. Irregular widening of the PDA space occurs 2 years after radiation therapy with a dose of 45 Gray. These were some of the radiographic changes we see in periodontal and inflammatory lesions. Thank you guys.